Hi, my name is Christine, and today I will be presenting the sensory system of vision. So this presentation will unveil the neurobiology of the sensory system of sight. It'll develop a deeper understanding of sight as well as discuss the social consequences. All right. Visual as a sensory system. So each of your senses provide us with a vital information about our surroundings. However, people do rely on vision the most. So we're able to recognize friends, drive, walk, read, write, and learn what is happening in the world around us through our sight. This means that the apparatus for gathering information via the eye and the brain circuits that process that information are very complex than other systems dealing with other senses. Vision is uniquely evolved biological instrument that turns light into the brain's language of electric signals. So neurobiology of vision. The moment any light hits the eye, the process of sight begins. So first, the light is processed through the cornea, which is that clear layer of the eye, and then that bends the light in order to help the eye focus. Some of this light then enters the eye through the pupil. However, the iris controls the amount of light that is entered through that pupil. The light will eventually hit a sensitive layer of tissue at the very back of your eye, and that is known as the retina, which you can see. I don't know if you can see my mouse, but you can see that here, right? So then it hits the retina, and then the photoreceptors turn that light into electrical signals. Those electrical signals are then traveled from the retina through this optic nerve here, and then finally entering into your brain. And then your brain is then turning that whatever you're seeing, that light, into whatever image that you're conveying that into. All right, so a little bit more neurobiology. All of your visual information from the retina is relayed through lateral geniculate nucleus, which is basically the thalamus. And then it goes to the primary visual cortex. So that primary visual cortex is packed with a variety of cells, and each cell responds differently depending on what type of light you're seeing. So research has actually identified that some cells in the primary visual cortex prefer stimuli that are in the shape of bars or have like actual edges. And then sometimes they have to be moving in a particular direction as well in order to be processed by a specific cell. Another system tends to process visual information based on their color. So it can actually pick up the specific colors, and then the cells are able to process that color. Overall, the neurobiology of vision is very complicated and it is not fully understood yet, which is why a lot more research is needed. All right, functions of vision. Our vision allows us to be aware of our surroundings. Research shows that 80% of everything that we learn is through our sight. When the eye works well, all components of vision function and merge together effortlessly to provide people with sight. Each eye sees a different part of the outer world based on their visual field. The total visual field is when you add both of what your eyes are seeing together, and then that creates like your peripheral vision. It includes everything that you're seeing around you. So basically what that means is that what you're seeing when you cover your left eye and then you're looking through your right eye, you're actually perceiving with your left hemisphere of your brain. And then vice versa. If you cover your right eye and you're using your left eye, you're actually using the right hemisphere of your brain. So it kind of works both ways. But then when you take your hands off your eyes, you're using both sides and you can see the whole entire visual field around you. So now we'll go ahead and move into the social consequences. So the social consequences kind of come more from people who are visually impaired. I mean, of course, we see things that we don't necessarily want to see, But vision impairments can create a variety of other social consequences that we don't necessarily think about. Now, individuals with visual impairments experience restrictions in mobility, independence, and education achievement. So research has actually found that people with visual impairments have a decline in mental health, especially depression. They tend to feel like they're missing something in the real world and they can't see, so then people treat them differently and people assume that they might not be able to cook, cross streets, and even pursue an education. That can be very difficult, but there are ways that that can be accomplished. So for people with visual impairments, it's not impossible to get those things done, but it is part of a social consequence as people tend to stereotype them because they assume that they are incapable of being independent. And most of the time that's not the case. Sometimes they just need a little bit of extra help from the world around them, whether that be friends, family, or some type of different support system. All right, so the conclusion, this is basically key points over the entire presentation. So vision is a highly evolved biological tool that converts light into electrical signals that the brain then can understand. The equipment used to collect the data via the eye and brain circuits is quite complicated, which is why there's a lot more research that's needed in order to understand the full process. So essentially that the eye converts light into images, and it does this with the largest area in the brain that we know of. And then before reaching the retina, that light goes through the cornea, which is the transparent layer of the eye. And then that light is converted into electrical impulses by photoreceptors that it hits in the retina. Those receptors are delivered to the brain, and that's what then creates that picture, right? In order for you to see things in the real world and understand and be aware, then all of those systems have to work together to allow that to happen. And then as far as visual impairments go, you can injure your eyes. It's super easy to injure them. I've been there, I've done that, not fun. But then you can also, old age can create eye issues and not be able to see. So it's important that we take care of our eyes in order to prevent poor mental health, because studies are showing that visual impairments are leading to depression and anxiety. And again, people just feel like they're missing something and they know that that's not how things should be. So, and then these are my references. And thank you for your time. Sorry, those are my references. Thanks.